Today on our 2014 Dodge Ram pickup 2500 series, we'll be installing the CURT trailer hitch receiver, part number C15809. Now here's what our hitch looks like installed on our vehicle. Now we'll go ahead and give you a couple measurements in helping you choose some accessories for your hitch, such as a ball mount, a bicycle rack, or a cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of the bumper is approximately 3.5 inches. From the top of the opening in the receiver to the ground is approximately 21 inches. Now let's go ahead and install our hitch. Well, let's go ahead and first begin by pointing out the attachment points that we'll be using to mount our hitch. There's a total of 6 attachment points, 3 on each side. Now for the 2 forwardmost locations, 1 on each side, we'll be using the 3-inch long square hole spacer block, the 9/16 carriage bolt, and the 9/16 flange nut. I'll go ahead and use the fish wire provided with the kit. Now the fish wire, our hardware in the forwardmost location, we'll go ahead and feed it through the mounting location, coming out on the access hole here on the side of the frame. Now we'll take our 9/16 carriage bolt, thread it onto the fish wire, and pull it down into place. We'll then go ahead and remove the fish wire from the carriage bolt. Now with the rear location, we'll take the smaller square hole spacer block and we'll feed it in from the rear of the frame, lining it up with our mounting location. Now we'll go ahead and take our fish wire, feed it through the rear mounting location, through the square hole spacer block. Now we'll take our 9/16 bolt, feed it onto the end of the fish wire, and pull it down into place. We can then remove the fish wire from the carriage bolt. And we'll repeat the same process over here on the driver's side. Now on both the driver and the passenger side, notice that there's a wiring harness that has a plastic tab that goes in through the frame here. It's a good idea to go ahead and pull them out for now until you have the hitch up into position. It'll make things a little easier for you. Now for this application, we're going to need to add a 1/4 inch thick spacer block at the forwardmost mounting location. To keep the spacer block in place, we're going to go ahead and use a little electrical tape. Now, it's a good idea to get an extra set of hands to help you raise the hitch up into position. With the hitch raised up into position, you'll go ahead and install the 9/16 hex flange nuts on all 4 of the locations. Now keep in mind that anything we do on one side will be repeated over on the other side. Next, we'll go ahead and make sure that the 2 side holes line up. We're going to make sure that the bolt will go all the way in. We'll go ahead and check this out on both sides. Now that we've checked the opening on both of the side slots here, now we'll go ahead and tighten down the 4 hex flange nuts we just installed, and then we'll torque them to the manufacturer's specification. Now for the side mounting locations, we'll be using a 9/16 bolt, a 9/16 flat washer, some round hole spacer blocks, and a 9/16 flange nut. To install this, we're going to need to first put a couple spacer blocks in between the frame and the receiver hitch. You want to put in enough spacer blocks that the tow hook will not be pulled over towards the receiver when tightening down. In this case, it looks like 2 spacer blocks will work just fine. Once we have our 2 spacer blocks up into position, we'll then take our flat washer and slide it over the 9/16 bolt, and then we'll insert the bolt from the outside of the vehicle towards the center of the vehicle through the receiver, the spacer blocks, and finally the tow hook. We'll then put another round hole spacer block on, followed by the flange nut. We'll go ahead and tighten them down. And then we'll torque them to the manufacturer's specification. And then we'll go ahead and push the 2 plastic tabs we removed earlier that hold part of the factory wiring harness in place. And that'll do it for our installation of the Curt trailer hitch receiver, part number C15809, on our 2014 Dodge Ram Pickup 2500 series.